Chapter 81 Battle Suit Design Completed. You are listening at NovelsNew. Link made the final integration of technology and ideas. He positioned himself as an agent killer. Of course, he was quite special and was a latecomer. Although he was a level 6 agent, this level was neither high nor low. He could not get the real core secrets of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he had to go to the real work when something happened, like dealing with Ironmonger, meeting Bruce Banner, and guarding Captain America, etc. From this point of view, Nick Fury did not arrange any good work for him, that is, he did not let him participate in the problem of Thor's hammer. This director is not only black, but also black in heart. If Link did not have enough psychological ability, he would not be able to handle these problems. Therefore, he would not prepare an iron armor for himself. That thing is actually not suitable for him. The suit designed by Link is no longer limited to the tight version. Finally, Link thought of a skin of a hero in League of Legends, Lucian of the Source Project, and Hyperion Team Z01 Orion Lucian. The two skins gave Link a lot of inspiration. He had a lot of skins in his previous life, including the Project series, but he didn't have the Hyperion Team series, but this team had wings behind them, so, Link thought of the problem of flying. The newly modified flying skateboard can be spliced to the back of the battle suit, which is equivalent to having flying wings. This is considered the second flying form. With the help of artificial intelligence and nanotechnology, this flying skateboard can carry and connect two flight modes, and can also help transport ammunition, and Lucian's project skin is designed to carry weapons and medicine, but he uses energy weapons. This is not shown, just a little bit, just say that it is reasonable to hang a circle of pistol magazines on the belt. And the position of the waist can carry your own throwing knife box, but the pistol alone is not enough. You also need to thank the assault rifle. The magazine can be placed on the flying skateboard. The position of the missile can also hang an ammunition box to supply yourself. There are many accessories in this regard, and Link's thinking has been completely opened up. He is not Superman now, he is just a shooter, so he should be regarded as making up for the lack of firepower of the Avengers. That's right, no matter how you look at the Avengers, they are lacking in firepower. Many people have complained about it, especially Wakanda. With such advanced technology, they still use spears. Facing a large number of enemies, they can only fight hand to hand. Is this still forcibly narrowing the gap? Of course, if they are all alien fleets, the Earth is not a match at all, and the special effects may be more expensive. Link made a little joke, and then continued his design. The idea has been completely determined, and now it is just a little bit of thinking. It doesn't need to be too powerful. This is the key point. Link is doing research and development at his own level, and he is also forcibly suppressing his strength. After all, he joined the Avengers just to play a supporting role, just for the infinite gems, not to act as the main force and attract attention. Aliens are not scary, but the scary Earthlings are. Link doesn't want to expose the fact that he is Superman. Getting one Infinity Stone can stop Thanos from snapping his fingers. Getting two will make Thanos weaker. Maybe Captain Marvel or Thor will kill him directly, taking the skin of Project Lucian as a template. The belt, shoulder pads, arm guards, knee pads, and leg guards are all enhanced. Although it is just for show, it still needs to be strong and durable enough. It is best to use vibranium, and this skin has a helmet. It is convenient for him to communicate with artificial intelligence. There is a tuxedo-like decoration on the back, which is also like a swallow's tail. Because nanotechnology is used, there is no need to leave an interface on the back. The interface can be installed on the upper part of the flying skateboard, which can be directly docked. In this way, a set of variable flying suits is designed, with some weapons on the waist and a Glock 17 pistol on the thigh. Energy weapons are not needed for the time being, but Link is also ready to design a pair of energy pistols using Tony Stark's new elements. He has scanned them before. The COM accelerator is also in the automatic factory below, and he can manufacture them. However, he couldn't use Tony Stark's reactor. He needed to design a reaction device inside the energy pistol. He perfected the design, but didn't build it because he didn't have vibranium. If he had vibranium, he could immediately build nano parts. The automatic processing plant has nano processing capabilities. Link designed another set for Jessica. This time he used Asha's project skin, which also has a helmet. her design fits the body, highlighting her figure. She can also connect a flying skateboard on the back, and the color scheme is the same as the battle suit, but for her weapon, Link designed a large-caliber long-range energy weapon, and she can usually use an assault rifle. The two sets of armor themselves do not need energy. On the one hand, both of them have strong strength and endurance. On the other hand, Jessica is not for fighting. The key is defense and escape, and Link's energy pistol is enough. When there is no one else, his own attack power is enough. Coulson, I need to go to Africa. I need to carry weapons this time. Is there a plane? Link asked. Lin, you really surprised me. Do you have any information? Coulson asked. No, it's my personal matter. Link said, how about it? If not, then I can charter a plane to go there. Yes, I will arrange it for you right away. You are a level 6 agent, so you still have some authority. Coulson did not refuse. Although Link's identity has changed greatly now, Link has not left S.H.I.E.L.D. and is still a level 6 agent. Okay, I'll wait for your news, but there is no mission for so long. Link asked again. No, after all, you are a high-end combat force, there is no mission that requires you to go out in person, and your current identity is very good, the director hopes you can keep it up. Coulson's words made Link roll his eyes. There is no dangerous mission, otherwise Nick Fury would probably let him do it. That guy's style of doing things is like this. Link did not get entangled, just like Bruce Banner. Link can't see him now, and he doesn't know how Nick Fury arranges it. This time Link will go by himself, and he won't take Frank with him, because his target is Ulysses Klaue, who has a lot of vibranium in his hands. Ultron can use it to build a huge body for himself, so it is no problem to build 2 sets of battle suits. Chapter 82, Build. You are listening at NovelsNew. Africa, Ulysses Klaue's base camp is here. Link got off the plane, let the plane wait for him, and then left with a large backpack. He did not live in any hotel, but walked until night, then opened his backpack and armed himself. Combat uniform, combat boots, gloves, tactical vest and tactical helmet, followed by a submachine gun, a pistol and a large number of magazines. These things have been processed, and his fingerprints will not appear on them. Link is not ready to take them back. Then he listened carefully, and even flew up after dark. At this time, the satellite is invalid and the situation on the ground cannot be seen. In Africa, there is no need to worry about someone or surveillance discovering him. Link quickly found the target, then flew close to the ground, and arrived at the location in a short while. This is a ship abandonment site. Ulysses Klaue chose an old cargo ship as his base. Every time he took action, he took people out and then returned. At the Salva wharf, Ulysses Klaue was watching his people loading goods. The war here was constant, and it was a good place for him to make money. Gold and diamonds were currencies. Suddenly, all the lights in the ship went out. He instantly became alert and shouted loudly, "Go check the generator." Bang bang. Before anyone could respond, bursts of gunfire rang out, and everyone here panicked. Ulysses Klaue was stunned. Someone actually attacked him here. Pick up your weapons. He shouted, then turned back to his room, took out an assault rifle and came out again, standing on a high place, looking down, trying to see something. Bang bang. The gunfire continued. The darkness was Link's best cover. After he came here, he directly used the X-ray vision to observe and found the power lines and generators here. He even saw the storage location of the vibranium, so he directly cut off the power supply and the backup power supply. Then he killed in. The people here couldn't see him at all. Even if they fought back, they fired randomly. Link directly held the assault rifle and killed everyone one by one. There was no screaming, because they were all shot in the head, and no one could survive. While Link easily found every target, there was no way to hide. There was nothing made of lead here, so it was impossible to block X's sight. There was no sound at all. Ulysses Klaue was sweating coldly at this time. He didn't want to escape, but he didn't dare to go out. Someone attacked him here. He was an absolute master. The number of the opponent could not be judged. but he never fired randomly, he couldn't judge, and his own people were panicking and firing randomly, which made it even more difficult for him to judge. Now, the gunshots finally stopped, and he couldn't hear a sound. Someone patted his shoulder. Ulysses Klaus shuddered with fear, and the weapon in his hand fell directly to the ground. He turned around tremblingly and saw a yellow-skinned face standing behind him fully armed. A pistol in his hand was pointed at him. Seeing him turn around, he even smiled at him. "You!" Bang! Link didn't show any mercy and shot the guy directly. This is a person who talks a lot, and Link just let him see his face because he doesn't want him to die with regrets. With a hint of bad taste, Link threw away his pistol, took off all his equipment and threw it away, then opened the backpack behind him and changed into the clothes he wore when he came. He went to restore the diesel generator. He just turned it off, and the backup power supply was completely destroyed when it lit up. Instantly, Link walked back leisurely. At this time, there were corpses everywhere, and each corpse had a look of fear and confusion. They didn't know they were killed at all. And Ulysses Klaus knew that his expression was just surprise. "Buzz, start the elevator." Ulysses Klaus' treasure appeared in front of him immediately, and put all the containers containing vibranium into his backpack, which was full. One backpack was not enough, so he found another one, and then put some diamonds and gold in it. As for the cash, he didn't move it. After all, it might be checked, and then he carried 2 large bags and prepared to leave. He found a box of grenades here and there. There were many of them, and there were ammunition everywhere. Then he pulled out the pull ring and threw it out. He used super speed to throw all the grenades in the box out, then he picked up the bag again and disappeared in an instant. When he appeared again, he was already in the sky outside. He flew far away before he heard a huge explosion behind him. The whole cargo ship was thrown high. There were too many weapons and ammunition inside. After the explosion, it almost formed a mushroom cloud. Link took a look and then went back directly. He got on the plane with his things, and then he rested on the plane. The next morning, he applied for a flight route and returned directly to the United States. In less than a day, he got a lot of vibranium and went back directly to the automatic factory. "Alfred, you should work." Link returned to the top floor of the Osborne building and said as soon as he entered. "Sir, have you got the materials?" A relatively old voice sounded. "This is Alfred, the artificial intelligence designed by Link. It is his smart butler and assistant, and is responsible for monitoring the entire Osborne building. Its main computer is on the 2nd floor underground, and Stark Industries' electromagnetic arc reactor is on the 1st floor. Of course, I'll send it down now. Get ready to start work." Link came to the factory on the lower floor, took out the vibranium from the container, and put it into the smelting equipment. By the way, these golds are also melted and recast into gold bars. They are marked with LK on the back. Each bar is 500 grams. Order 1,000 grams of platinum for me. Okay, sir. Alfred began to implement Link's plan. The flying skateboard was made of titanium alloy and used 2 colors, both of which were the same as the original plan's skin. The 2 men's battle suits only require the creation of nanomodules and then inputting the program. This kind of nano-level technology is currently only owned by Link. Link returned to the top floor, took a bottle of bourbon and a cigar, went to the deck chair on the balcony, lay down, and began to enjoy the sunshine. At this time, the phone rang, and it was Coulson who called. "Lynn, you really made a big move. Fortunately, I killed Ulysses Klaus. It's not a big deal." Link said directly. He didn't need to hide some things now because his identity and status were different. Chapter 83 Manufacturing. You are listening at NovelsNew. Ulysses Crow. Coulson was stunned. This guy is quite famous. He can do everything and is very powerful. It doesn't look too strong in my opinion. After turning off the power, you can use night vision goggles to eliminate them very well. Link did a little processing here. What's wrong? It's okay. Since it is your private matter, the Bureau will not interfere. Coulson said, I called today to ask about something. Did you get a new element reactor from Stark? Link suddenly realized that this was the case, so he said, yes, I did get one. Link actually has two in his hand now, and there are many new elements, which are currently being manufactured in the automatic factory above, 2 reactors, one for myself and one for Jessica. Jessica can't use it now, and there is nothing else that can directly threaten her, so it's hard to say when she will use it. The new elements are for weapons. Smaller energy devices are installed in 2 energy pistols, and Jessica is a large energy weapon. The large energy weapon is inspired by Jinx's weapon and can transform into machine gun, shoulder cannon form, or even be charged up to fire a large one. This is Link's design for Jessica. After all, he doesn't want Jessica to fight in close combat. After all, she is not himself and is not that powerful. Once her superpower is exposed, it is really hard to explain, Link added. The Osborne group has a flying skateboard. I tried it. It can be used as a flying prop. After all, although my marksmanship is good, my movement speed is a bit slow, so I asked them to modify it and install an energy source so that I can fly for a longer time. The flight time is longer than Tony's. After all, there is no need to release energy, nor does it need to supply the energy consumption of the armor. Coulson understood and said, I understand, I will inform the director that your combat strength needs to be re-evaluated. Link said, no problem, that the two quickly hung up the phone. Link's identity was different now, but Nick Fury was definitely a sinister guy, darker than his face. Knowing his situation, he will definitely adjust his use in the future, but now Link is in no hurry. His original apartment was given to Frank and McCall. They no longer had to rent an apartment, and there were parking spaces in the underground parking lot. Link bought them a car. In this way, they drove to Osborne Tower every morning, picked Jessica up to go to work, and brought her back after get off work. Finally there is one gym left. Link doesn't own many properties, and he won't buy them casually, because real estate is of little use to him, and a small villa on the west coast is enough. Link won't go to other places at all. It's of little use to him to buy too many properties. He prefers the penthouse in the Osborne building, where sunbathing is a kind of enjoyment. Link is going to change that gym, because now there is a gym in his mansion, and after special treatment, it is enough for him and Jessica to train. The separate gymnasium was no longer of much use, so Link planned to modify it and turn it into a workshop. This workshop was specially used to modify vehicles. He was going to upgrade his saber class. Considering future combat problems, he needed a mobile arsenal, so this large SUV was very suitable. Now I use it to hold weapons, but I won't use it for the time being, but I will definitely use it in the future. Moreover, S.H.I.E.L.D. will use Quinjet fighters in the future. Maybe Tony Stark is providing it with technical guidance now, but Link doesn't know it. The main function of this kind of fighter is more of transportation. Its main weapon is a minigun. Its more function is to transport personnel. A Quinjet can transport a S.H.I.E.L.D. combat team and the equipment it needs. Link believes that some modifications can be made. In addition to the drivers and co-pilot seats, some other things can be deleted, and finally used to transport your own car. The flying skateboard is responsible for transporting ammunition to itself, so it needs to be matched with the car. You can also put the flying skateboard in the car at ordinary times. The only pity is that I can't use an armored vehicle. That one is heavier and larger and will definitely not fit in the future Quinjet fighter. In other words, a large SUV may be okay. Jessica returned to the mansion on the top floor of the building. Alfred, where is Lynn? Miss Jessica, sir, is working downstairs. Artificial intelligence. Alfred solved the problem of the house being too big and unable to find her boyfriend. Jessica stepped on her high heels and came to the automatic factory below, where she found Link busy at the workbench. After walking over, I found that Link was using a holographic projection. This was just a holographic projection on the workbench. Link didn't make it too big. The holographic projection requires all-round light exposure and is not suitable for installation here. Even Tony Stark did not install a large-scale holographic projection on the top floor of the Stark Tower. Link turned his head, looked at Jessica, and asked, "How is it?" "This is a necklace made of platinum, set with 108 diamonds of the same size, 18 of which form a heart shape." Jessica smiled and said, "It's beautiful." "Okay." Link saw that his girlfriend was satisfied, and then ordered, "Alfred, start building it." After Link finished speaking, he pulled Jessica back to the upper floor, and the two went to the kitchen to cook. They rarely go out to eat, and most of the time they cook at home. They are both very homely people, unless there is a necessary social event, or they are with Tracy. Because of the investment of Jessica's charity foundation, Tracy has completely controlled her own radio program. She can say whatever she wants, and the producer of the program can't control her. Because the foundation doesn't care about the number of listener shares, the main theme is that a rich and willful person can do whatever he wants, and Tracy also lets herself go. After dinner, the two of them looked for interesting TV shows. The battle suit has not been completed yet, mainly because the nano-level processing speed is very fast and it takes a lot of time, especially the processing of vibranium is not easy, it takes several days, but there is also an advantage, that is, the solidity of vibranium. Once it is completed, Link almost doesn't need to process it again. At the same time, the material of vibranium should be able to withstand infinite gems. After Link gets the gems, he can wear them directly on his fingers. Vibranium is indeed a good thing. It solves most of Link's problems. I will definitely get more if I have the opportunity in the future, it's just that my current situation is not convenient, otherwise Ulysses Clow can be sent to Wakanda in exchange for a lot of vibranium. Chapter 84. It's finally here. You are listening at NovelsNew. The next day, Link brought some technicians from the Osborn group to the gym. After opening it, he asked them to take measurements. The underground floor remained unchanged, and only the ground floor was modified. The lifting platform here was high enough to lift a large SUV, and automatic robotic arms, lifts, computers, etc. were to be installed. This is a small automated factory, which is Link's private property, and the cost is naturally paid by himself. The underground shooting range is still preserved. This is where Link and Jessica practice shooting. There is no shooting range designed on the top floor of the Osborn building. After all, it is not suitable. Jessica still needs to practice design. Energy weapons cannot be used easily. She can only practice with firearms. The gap is huge, but the design of energy weapons can use the help of intelligent systems. Link is preparing for the invasion of the Chitauri. Then he modified the vehicle, trained Jessica, and tested the battle suit many times. Time passed quickly, and the development of the Osborn group was the same as always. When Link has time, he arranges Alfred to guide those RD teams. The Osborn group has made great strides in the pharmaceutical industry and has developed extremely rapidly, constantly launching drugs. At the same time, the weapons department produces part of the orders given by the military, which is not much, and more is the manufacture of prostheses. The Osborn group has retained the two parts of biology and medicine. Link's research in the biological department is determined to be bionic prostheses. He developed bionic fibers, muscle tissue is simulated by bionic fibers, bones are simulated by titanium alloys, and the nervous system is connected with biochips. The nerve sends instructions to the chip. After receiving neuronal information, the chip controls the bones and sends microcurrents to stimulate the bionic fibers. The contraction of bionic fibers simulates muscle movements and cooperates with metal bones to complete all movements. This is very difficult to say, but the signal is transmitted very quickly, and all movements are completed almost immediately. Moreover, the biochip has a recording function, recording behavioral habits, and then constantly adjusting, and finally achieving human-machine integration. The acquisition of the weapons department was not entirely for the production of weapons, but for equipment and workers. After nearly 2 years of development, the market value of the Osborn Group has exceeded $350 billion, and there is still huge room for growth. Norman Osborn's ability is beyond doubt. Now he has completely given up the work of research and development and concentrated on managing the group, and the effect is very good. Not only is the Osborn Group developing, Tony Stark has completed the layout of New Energy, and Stark Industrial stock has soared, and the United Construction Company has also developed rapidly. The 2 completed buildings have begun to be rented out, and the high-end apartments are also rented out. The new construction plan has begun. Link didn't let him go too fast, because he didn't know how far the Battle of New York would affect. In addition, he also made preparations to prevent Loki from choosing his own building. Just when Link was ready, what was supposed to happen still happened. "Lin, we need you," Coulson called. soon there will be a S.H.I.E.L.D. fighter to pick you up. Okay, where should I wait? Link asked. In your mansion. After that, Coulson hung up the phone. Link looked at his phone and then smiled. After preparing for so long, it was finally about to start. The space gem was already waving at him. However, how to get the space gem? It is estimated that the cosmic cube is in Loki's hands now, otherwise Coulson would not contact him. After all, Link has not been on a mission for almost 2 years, this time is long enough, and now suddenly contacted. Link calculated the time, isn't it almost time? He looked down at his watch, just take the battle suit and flying skateboard, no need to carry weapons. Anyway, the final battlefield is in New York, and there is no need to notify Jessica now. There will be time to notify her when the time comes. Alfred, start the Swallow flying skateboard. Yes sir. Before Alfred's voice fell, a gate opened, and the skateboard rose directly and flew to Link's side. Link stretched out his hand and grabbed it, and its power system was immediately shut down, and then began to decompose. This is made of titanium alloy, and also uses nanotechnology. Then on Link's right wrist, a platinum bracelet was formed, which is relatively wide and has a triangular cursor on it. This is the new element. After all, this thing cannot be nanoized. The battle suit is in the watch on the left hand, because it does not require energy, it can be completely nanoized. Link came to the landing pad outside. He estimated that the Quinjet would come to pick him up, but there was no room for the Quinjet here. However, the Quinjet could float and then open the tail door as a staircase, so Link went outside to wait directly. Sure enough, the Quinjet arrived quickly, floated on the helicopter landing pad, and the tail door slowly opened. Link walked up directly and found that there was only one pilot. Sir. The other party turned around and greeted him, then turned back, closed the door, and the fighter took off. Link came to the co-pilot's seat and sat down, fastened his seatbelt, and put on headphones. Is this newly developed? Yes, sir. The pilot said. After that, Link said no more, but observed the driver's operation and looked at all the instruments at the same time. He could remember all of them, and then find a manual to read it again, and he would basically be able to drive it. After this battle, you must have won. The driver saw that Link stopped talking, so he focused on driving the fighter and increased the speed, while Link continued to learn driving skills. An aircraft carrier was driving on the sea, and the fighter plane landed directly. Nick Fury was waiting for him here in person. Lin, long time no see. Nick Fury stretched out his hand and shook hands with Link. Link said, Mr. Director, I don't really want to see you. Is there something wrong? Otherwise you wouldn't have called me. Nick Fury smiled and said, you are no longer suitable for ordinary tasks. This time you need to gather more forces, and someone is rushing over. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Okay. Link followed Nick Fury into the interior of the aircraft carrier and came to the command room. Link saw the scene here in the movie, but after seeing the real thing, he was still a little surprised. Link asked, it can fly. Did you figure it out? Nick Fury was a little proud. Yes, at least this command room is not used for diving. S.H.I.E.L.D. is developing well. Link looked around, then took out a cigarette and asked, is there a smoking room? Of course, Agent Hill, take Lin there. Nick Fury asked Hill to take Link to the smoking room. Also, let him see the combat uniform. Chapter 85, Gathering. You are listening at NovelsNew. Maria Hill, a Level 9 agent, is the next director trained by Nick Fury, who will take over the S.H.I.E.L.D. in public, while Phil Coulson will take over the part he secretly established. Nick Fury is indeed the king of agents, but his layout has no support. After discovering Hydra, he can only rely on Captain America to stop Hydra's plan. In this way, S.H.I.E.L.D. disappeared in public. This is the room prepared for you. There are combat uniforms and equipment in it. Take a look. Maria Hill said, you can smoke in your room. Thank you. Link said, then pushed the door open and looked at the layout inside. Although there was only one bedroom and one bathroom, there were a lot of guns hanging on one wall of the bedroom, as well as Link's throwing knife box, and a set of black combat uniforms, military boots, etc. Link lay directly on the bed. He should be the closest, and others should be on their way, so there is no hurry. Link smoked a cigarette and thought about the follow-up. The cosmic cube was now taken away by Loki. He needed to build a machine to activate the cosmic cube. This was not a big problem. The Mind Stone could control people, he could find enough people to help him complete it, but would he still plan to attack S.H.I.E.L.D.? If Hawkeye was taken away, many secrets would be lost, just like this aerospace mothership. In fact, attacking here was dispensable. As long as he could open the portal, the Chitauri army could immediately kill the Earth. There was no need to attack the aerospace mothership. The key link now was actually Hulk. Did Hawkeye know that Bruce Banner had already controlled Hulk? The problem in front of Link now was the timing to take the cosmic cube. He sorted out the plot of the movie, and it seemed that there was no chance, unless he fell down, directly from the aerospace mothership, and then used the flying skateboard to fly back to New York, and got the cosmic cube before the machine started. Once the machine started, an energy shield would be formed. I can break it, but once I break it, will I be exposed? This is not what Link wants, but he can try. If Loki is really caught on purpose and comes to the aerospace mothership to provoke Hulk, Hawkeye will definitely attack. He can find a chance to fall down and try. Even if it doesn't work, he can go back to get his equipment, start his chariot and go to the battlefield. What if the situation changes? If Loki doesn't attack but directly starts the machine, his scepter is the key, but there is also a problem, that is, the World Security Council may launch a nuclear bomb, which is a big trouble. Link didn't have a clue for a while. Plans will never change as fast as changes. It is better to keep the same in the face of changes. If it doesn't work, smash the top floor of Stark Building and let the machine fall down with the cosmic cube, directly crush the outer shell of the cosmic cube, then take out the gems inside, and finally wrap it with vibranium to isolate gamma rays. Link put out the cigarette butt, then looked at the combat uniform, and started to take off his clothes directly. The black combat uniform is one piece, and it feels very fitting after putting it on. The trouser legs are tucked into the military boots. Tie an armed belt, take a thigh holster, and tie it on the right thigh. This position is the most comfortable and fast to draw a gun. Link tried it at normal speed. There are many weapons hanging on the wall. He only put a Glock 17 in the holster. Now is non-combat time. There is no need to carry spare magazines, making it seem like he needs to fight at any time. However, after Link finished his equipment, he did not leave the room. He lay on the bed again, took out a cigarette, and took out another one and smoked it. Someone will call me later, or the communicator in the room will sound, and I will still lie down comfortably. Bruce Banner is far away. He boarded the Quinjet. Nick Fury called him before and asked him for help. He did not refuse. He had to say that he owed a favor to S.H.I.E.L.D., and he could stay in the forest area of Canada with peace of mind and live a life without worries. This is a favor from S.H.I.E.L.D. Tony Stark received the news last night, and Coulson gave him some information. He read it overnight and knew the importance of the matter. Captain America Steve Rogers was personally invited by Nick Fury and also given a copy of the information, only Link didn't. Soon, these people boarded the aerospace carrier, the flight system started, and Link's door was knocked. The visitor was Black Widow Natasha Romanoff. Lynn, long time no see. It's been a long time. Link nodded. They had met once, and that was at the New York branch. The other party came to test his fighting ability. Let's go, Fury is waiting. After saying that, Black Widow turned and left, and Link followed behind. The two came to the command room, where there was a round conference table. Everyone sat here. Link raised his eyebrows, and there were indeed some changes. Tony Stark was also here. He arrived on time. It seems that he can't think completely according to the plot. Hey, Link. Stark waved to Link, followed by Bruce Banner and Steve Rogers. All three of them had met Link and accepted his help. Nick Fury glanced at Link and then said, "You all know each other now. Let me tell you about the situation." Then he briefly introduced the situation of the Cosmic Cube, and then about Asgard, Loki and the captured personnel, and then said to Bruce Banner, "Doctor, you are an expert in this field. If you say who knows the Rubik's Cube, then it's you. Bruce Banner needs to gather all the gamma testers on the roof, and then he will write an algorithm to find the whereabouts of the cosmic cube. Nick Fury asked Black Widow to take the doctor to work, and asked Tony Stark to help, leaving Captain America and Link. Nick Fury said, "Our people are still around the world, mobilizing all cameras, mobile phones, computers, etc., to find Loki's whereabouts. Once found, Captain and Lynn will look at you." "No problem," Steve Rogers said, and Link asked, "When Loki came to Earth through the cosmic cube, he must have faced heavy defense, right?" "Yes." Nick Fury nodded. Link asked again, "So, bullets are ineffective against him?" Nick Fury nodded to him and said, "It is true that a guard hit him at the time, and the bullets from the assault rifle were indeed ineffective." Chapter 86 Capturing Loki. You are listening at NovelsNew. But the bullet mainly hit his clothes at that time. The specific material is unclear, but there is no damage at all, but he was not seen to be hindered. Nick Fury said, "I don't know what it would be like if it hit the head." Link thought for a while and said, "It seems that I need to use the shotgun and use the single-headed bullet to see how effective it is." Nick Fury agreed, "You have these equipment and ammunition in your room. You can be responsible for fire support to the captain when the time comes. Even if it hinders Loki's movements, it's good." Link nodded and said, "I understand." They have been waiting, and soon Black Widow came back and sat down to wait for news together. A global search cannot be fast unless the other party takes the initiative to appear. At night, Loki appeared in Stuttgart, Germany, at 28 Cunning Street, where a party was being held. Captain, Lynn, Natasha. Nick Fury spoke, and the three of them got up directly. Link returned to his room to get a Brunelli M1014 shotgun. He poured 2 boxes of single-headed bullets into a tactical waste bag, hung it on the right side of his waist, took out a few Glock 17 magazines, inserted them on the belt, and set off directly. A Quinjet was ready. At this time, Captain America Steve Rogers had changed into his battle suit and walked over with a shield. The two boarded the fighter together. Black Widow was responsible for driving. Link sat down, then checked the gun, then took out the bullets, pressed them in one by one, and then adjusted the length of the butt. "I hope this guy is useful," Link said, "otherwise it will be difficult for me to support you." Steve Rogers said, "I hope your shooting is accurate enough." "Of course, it must be accurate." Link smiled. The speed of the fighter was very fast. The aerospace carrier was originally staying over the Atlantic Ocean, not far from Europe. After Loki entered the banquet hall, he waited for a long time before taking action. He was waiting for the people from S.H.I.E.L.D. to appear. Link thought about it in his heart. Loki still wanted to get on the aerospace carrier, but why? Doesn't Hawkeye know about Bruce Banner's situation? If he knows, how can Loki's plan be realized? Link is now full of questions. The fighter plane arrives at the location. At this time, there are people kneeling on the ground below. Loki is still giving a speech. Steve Rogers asks Black Widow to open the back door and jump directly from a height of more than 30 meters. Link clicks the bracelet on his right hand, and the flying skateboard gradually forms. Black Widow looks at it and says, "Cool. I'm going down." Link also jumps down, and then the skateboard comes to his feet. He holds the shotgun in both hands and stares down at Loki. Loki looks at Captain America, Link and the fighter plane above, smiles slightly, and suddenly raises the scepter at the fighter plane, shooting out a beam of energy. Black Widow controls the fighter plane to dodge, while Captain America rushes up and wrestles with Loki, but he is at a disadvantage. With a bang, just when Loki is about to hit Captain America, Link opens fire. The single-headed bullet has only one bullet, and there is no steel ball inside. All its kinetic energy is concentrated on one warhead, so as long as it is accurate, it will not hit Captain America. Some effects. Loki's movements paused slightly, his brows furrowed, although he was not injured, but it did hurt a little, and it hindered his movements. Captain America took this opportunity to counterattack immediately, and the two began to cooperate with each other. At this time, the external speaker of the Quinjet was turned on, and an exciting song was played. Link turned his head curiously and saw Stark wearing armor falling from the sky. Two energy bombs directly hit Loki and knocked him out. Then Stark landed, and all the weapon systems on his body were turned on and aimed at Loki. Link didn't expect that Stark would come anyway. Did Nick Fury ask him to come? Hey, your support is here. Stark's cynical tone came. Why are you here? Link asked after landing. Don't talk about me first, is this your flying skateboard? Stark asked curiously. Yes, the Swallow flying skateboard. Link bent down and touched it, and then the flying skateboard disintegrated, forming a bracelet on Link's wrist. Oh my god, you have realized nanotechnology? Stark exclaimed. Steve Rogers said helplessly, should we take the people away first? Okay. Link stepped forward and seized the scepter. The Quinjet landed and Black Widow sent down a pair of handcuffs. After handcuffing Loki and taking him to the fighter, Stark couldn't wait to ask, is it really nanotechnology? Yes, do you want it? Link asked with a smile. Of course, if I have nanotechnology, then my armor can be carried with me. Stark was very excited. What are the conditions? Dang dang, Link knocked on the reactor on Stark's chest. Exchange, but neither of us can put the other's technology into commercial use. No problem, but who did it? Stark asked. Trade secret. Link said with a smile, for the time being, Osborn Group has no intention of commercializing it. I use it to build a set of combat suits and a flying skateboard. I didn't use the combat suit this time. Of course, my combat suit is different from yours, so I can't use your armor. Then he patted the pistol on his thigh and continued, I still like to use firearms. Stark said arrogantly, not everyone can be Iron Man. Boom! Suddenly there was thunder outside, and Loki shrank his neck in obvious fright. Steve Rogers was unable to participate in the conversation between Stark and Link, but kept staring at Loki. He asked, are you afraid of thunder? I just hate the guy who thundered, Loki said. With a boom sound, someone jumped onto the plane. Stark picked up the helmet strap and walked directly to the back door. Link immediately tapped the watch on his right hand. The suit was quickly put on, and Thor had already come down. He pushed Stark away with a hammer, then grabbed Loki and jumped out. Stark climbed up and chased out despite Captain America's obstruction. Lin. Captain America turned to look at Link. I'll take you to chase him. Link clicked the bracelet on his right hand, then pulled Captain America and rushed out. Steve Rogers was a little confused. However, the flying skateboard quickly rushed out, then rushed towards them, and finally connected with the back of Link's suit. Boom! Pushing in to activate, Link grabbed one of Captain America's wrists and led him after Stark. Chapter 87, The Power of Psychologists. You are listening at NovelsNew. Soon, Link found Tony Stark. He came to the sky and let go of Captain America, putting him down while he was suspended in the air. Stark looked at it and said in surprise, is this your suit? You actually have such a skill. Link said, I'm not a fool. I fly around on my skateboard. This place is left to you. I can't participate. With that said, he flew directly up, and then looked at the three people below. Naturally, Thor, the god of thunder, would not give up directly, and Stark also needed a beating in the mouth, so the two sides started fighting. It destroyed a lot of surrounding trees, and finally everyone found that they were almost evenly matched, so they stopped. In the end, they took Loki together, returned to the Quinjet, and headed for the space carrier. When he returned to the space carrier, he had returned to his original appearance. Stark was beside him asking endless questions about his equipment. Link could only say that I don't understand technology. Loki was escorted by heavy troops to the place where he was imprisoned. This was a special cell. He was locked in it. Once he wanted to break out of the wall, the decoration below would be touched, and the entire cell would be blasted directly from an altitude of 10,000 meters. Throw it down. Everyone came to the command room and gathered together, and everyone began to analyze the current situation. Why do I feel that something is not right about the situation? Loki seems to want to stay very much. Nick Fury said, Lin, you are a psychology expert, what do you think? Link said, if you want to analyze Loki's thoughts, you must first start with intelligence. Hawkeye is captured by him and is willing to do things for him, so he must know some things about S.H.I.E.L.D. So how much does Hawkeye know? This space carrier seems to be no longer a secret, so does he know about Dr. Banner's situation? Nick Fury was stunned for a moment, and then suddenly realized that Hawkeye knew a lot, including Dr. Banner's situation, so, he said, yes, Hawkeye knows. What next? Link added, in this case, many things are no longer secrets. Loki was caught by us on purpose, and he has ways to attack us, such as destroying this battleship. Thor, what do you know? Thor said, Loki has an army, the Chitauri army. As far as I know, they are ready to attack. Link nodded slightly and said again, so, Loki is going to use the cosmic cube to open a space door, and then let this army reach the Earth? But why don't they just fly over? The huge space fleet flew directly to the Earth, but it must open a portal, Thor said. The Earth is protected by Asgard, but after I returned to Asgard 2 years ago, I destroyed the Rainbow Bridge in order to prevent Loki from destroying a planet. Loki fell into the darkness of the universe. We all thought he was dead. I don't think he knew whether the Bifrost Bridge had been repaired. If the Rainbow Bridge is repaired, the fleet heading towards Earth will be intercepted by Asgard. If you use the cosmic cube to open the portal, the Chitauri army will soon enter the Earth to launch a war and conquer you quickly. Link smiled and said, now it seems that we are Loki's biggest obstacle, so it is obvious that the first thing he has to deal with is us. S.H.I.E.L.D. and some powerful people, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, etc., especially Hulk. Bruce Banner smiled and said, but I can control myself now. That's the problem. Link said, I remember the director said that Hawkeye is controlled by Loki's scepter, so there is a problem with this scepter. Why can it control people's minds? After it is out of Loki's control, can it still function and influence human thinking? Everyone was stunned, no one had thought about this. Stark said, then what are you waiting for? Banner, we should go to work. On the one hand, we are looking for the cosmic cube, and on the other hand, we are checking the scepter. Okay. Banner said, and left with Stark. No one else could help with this matter, except Link. Link said again, now we have to guard against Hawkeye. He knows how to board the battleship. Now we need to increase the defense level. Black Widow said, we can let him come up and we can catch him then. Hawkeye is just controlled. Nick Fury agreed with this. He did not want to lose Hawkeye and said, Agent Hill, be prepared. Any Quinjet that wants to land must be intercepted and forced to a stop. Yes, sir. Maria Hill always looked cool. Nick Fury turned to look at Link. Lin, I need you to talk to Loki. Try to understand what he really thinks. Link raised his eyebrows and said, I can only give it a try. After all, he is an Asgardian and I don't know them well. Link stood up and walked out, while Nick Fury was lost in thought. Thor and Coulson started talking, and Captain America also stood up, and he was going to see the progress of Banner and Stark's work. Link arrived at the cell. Loki stood in the cell, surrounded by special transparent materials. Loki looked at Link and smiled, and said, it is indeed you. It seems that Hawkeye's mouth is not reliable. Link said, he gave you all our information, you know my expertise. That's right, the so-called psychology on your Earth is useless to gods. Loki said arrogantly. Link shook his head and said, I know the relationship between you brothers. You are just a stupid brother. Loki was stunned, and then angry. He is not my brother. Link laughed and said, look, you are angry now, gods are just like this. Ah, I know, you want to irritate me? Loki tried to ask, to understand my thoughts when I am angry? No, in my opinion you are just a grown-up child. By the way, how old are you? Link asked suddenly. Damn, Loki did not expect that the weak human in front of him could irritate him repeatedly. Link shook his head and said, we know something about your situation before Thor came to Earth. You just want to get the attention and respect of your father. A naughty child will always get the attention of his parents, which is no different from the children on Earth. You think your father ignores you. Of course, you are adopted, so you think even more that your father doesn't love you. You still say you are not a child. Chapter 88 Enhanced Edition. You are listening at NovelsNew. Bang! Loki's fist hit the transparent wall. With a click sound, the surrounding fixed arms vibrated, and Loki himself was startled. Actually, in my opinion, Mr. Director should just throw you down, but this may turn into a diplomatic incident. Link shook his head with regret. You are a big trouble. Even if your scepter is detached with your control, you can still arouse other people's emotions. We had to quarantine it. Loki suddenly smiled and said, you are indeed very powerful. He said you can solve many problems. He was referring to Hawkeye, but you can't think of it. Link was stunned for a moment, then suddenly realized, and immediately contacted Nick Fury. Mr. Director, the attacker is not just Hawkeye, there may be an army. Link turned around and left. Loki was confused for a while. He seemed to have exposed something, but how? Link was actually a little annoyed. The situation was obviously different, so Loki was not stupid, so he naturally used more power. He can control the cosmic cube. It is difficult to open a large door, but it is still difficult to open a small door. He can activate the cosmic cube by controlling the wand. That's how he came here in the first place. Now that Banner can control the Hulk, the effectiveness of the scepter becomes smaller, and Hawkeye alone is not enough to destroy the battleship. In this way, it is okay for Loki to adjust his strategy. Link rushed to the command room at this time, and Nick Fury immediately asked, I have ordered level 1 combat readiness. What is going on? Loki has mastered the cosmic cube, but if he wants to lead a fleet over, he needs a huge space channel. But what if he opens a small one? Link said, he can first mobilize a group of Chitauri soldiers. Even aircraft or something. In this way, it will not be difficult for them to attack us. Let Hawkeye land and destroy us first, and then attack. In this way, is it not difficult to destroy us? Understood. Nick Fury also became serious. Attention, everyone, prepare for battle immediately. All fighter jets take off and search the nearby airspace. The battle alarm sounded. First, the pilot of the stealth fighter boarded the fighter plane. Then all the runways were opened, and they took off with bombs in sequence. There is no need for the Quinjet to take off for the time being, because its transportation capability is the strongest and its combat capabilities are much worse. Nick Fury then said, Hill, you take command, and I'll go see the progress of their work. Now we must find the Rubik's Cube as soon as possible. Nick Fury walked towards the laboratory, and Link followed. The scepter was there, but unfortunately it couldn't be taken now. Once the cosmic cube was activated, the scepter would be the key to closing it. Thor also came over, and the group of them entered the laboratory, and Black Widow was also there, but the situation is not good. An energy weapon is placed on the table, and Natasha Romanoff is explaining something. The situation has changed, but Nick Fury still left a loophole. Tony Stark did not believe the cosmic cube as a new energy source because Nick Fury did not ask him to study it. Stark is now the absolute authority in the field of new energy. After all, he has developed new energy. Captain America also had doubts. He began to search inside the battleship and found energy weapons developed by S.H.I.E.L.D. You're here just in time, can you explain me? Captain America looked at Nick Fury and asked. Captain, now is not the time to talk about this. Nick Fury said seriously, Loki may have a small army under his control now. Then when will it be? Stark turned a monitor and asked, when will your research and development be successful? That there was a quarrel, and IU started arguing. Link took a step back, and then looked at the scepter. He didn't understand magic, and he didn't know whether he needed to know magic to control the infinite stones. The unlucky guy Red Skull was sent to space by the cosmic cube and became immortal. Link stepped forward and came to the side of the scepter. Then he picked it up and felt it. It seemed that there was nothing special about it. Black Widow Natasha Romanoff suddenly shouted. The female voice was more penetrating, and everyone looked at Link. Link smiled and said, it seems that it has a lot of effect. You are all very emotional, and a little dissatisfaction has triggered such a quarrel. Only then did everyone react. Okay, everyone put on their equipment now, pick up their weapons and go to the deck. Loki's people should be arriving soon. Link clicked on his watch, and his suit immediately covered his whole body. I'll take this first. You are all affected, but I am not. In addition, it is to prevent Loki from taking it back. Let's do it. Link has no intention of taking it for himself now. The scepter still has its uses, and Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch still needed to be born. Link took the lead and came to the deck. The Yen flying skateboard was also assembled. Link stepped directly on it, holding the scepter as a weapon in his hand. All stealth fighters took off, began to form, and flew around the space carrier. Suddenly, news came from the command room in the headset that a Quinjet was approaching. Link thought for a while. Hawkeye could indeed get in, but what about the Chitauri? How can they get close to the aerospace carrier? Link immediately asked, Agent Hill, does the aerospace carrier have a blind spot? Blind spot? Hill was stunned. We have all kinds of radars turned on, and there is a reflection below. At this point, Link understood, Hill understood, and everyone understood. The skateboard under his feet started, and Link rushed directly to the edge of the warship, then dived down, and the skateboard seemed to melt, and then it was full behind Link. Boom, increasing the thrust. Link saw the Chitauri below when he dived down. They were riding small aircraft, flying over the sea, preparing to attack from the bottom. Link aimed the scepter downward and tried to emit energy, but the scepter did not move at all. Link grinned and accelerated his dive. Swish, the Chitauri also found him and began to attack him. Link moved briskly in the rain of bullets, erratic left and right, and the flexibility of the swallow was reflected. The two sides soon encountered each other and passed each other in an instant, and Link waved his scepter and used it as a weapon, which was very powerful. Behind Link was a formation of fighter jets. They fired missiles and used machine guns, and the two sides started fighting in the air. Chapter 89, Battle of New York 1. You are listening at NovelsNew. Schwa. Link used the scepter in his hand as a weapon. When it crossed the Chitauri aircraft, he smashed it directly and knocked down the Chitauri soldier in the driver's seat. Behind him stood two soldiers who were also taken down, but they were chained to the aircraft. When their bodies flew out, they were pulled by the chains. Link didn't have time to turn around and deal with it, because there were more aircraft in front of him, so he could only charge, but he also had his own plan, diving directly to the sea surface, and occasionally rotating 360 times to avoid the enemy's attack. He couldn't see behind him, but the continuous explosions made him know how fierce the battle behind him was. Those stealth fighters could not carry out beyond visual range attacks, so they could only dive with Link, otherwise they would let these aliens get close to the aerospace mothership. It must be said that these pilots were still very brave. Link rushed all the way to a position close to the sea surface, and suddenly made a right-angle turn, flying towards New York along the sea surface. With more than a dozen aircraft following behind him, he became the main target of the Chitauri. Link's plan was to lead some of them away. No matter how many, he could fly to New York. The scepter was already in his hand. Even if the cosmic cube was activated, he could shut it down. Dr. Eric Selvig should have left a backdoor. Even if he didn't leave it, Link would still smash it. After all, there should be no one there. Above the aerospace carrier, Hawkeye took a team to approach the aerospace carrier in a Quinjet, but several Quinjet fighters surrounded them. The onboard machine guns were aimed at them, and then the aerospace carrier sent a communication: Hawkeye, land immediately, otherwise I can only order you to be shot down. This was Maria Hill's voice. She was in charge of the command at this time. Hawkeye was very surprised, but now he had no choice. Just like he knew S.H.I.E.L.D., S.H.I.E.L.D. also knew him. If he opened the rear hatch, he would be attacked. He could only order, land. The Quinjet landed, and under Maria Hill's order, the rear hatch opened, and Captain America and Black Widow greeted him. Stark, Thor, and Coulson could all fly. Coulson put on the improved Iron Overlord and flew under the aircraft carrier. Coulson's armor was too big and slow, and with his firepower equipment, his speed was even slower, so he did not rush into the enemy's camp, but came to the flank, just in time to see Link leading the Chitauri away. This gave him a chance, and Coulson opened fire directly, with 2 machine guns firing from a high position. Boom boom. Link was stunned, turned his head and saw that the dozen aircraft following behind him were destroyed. "Lin, are you okay?" Coulson's voice came. Link looked up and then said, "It's okay. Excellent cooperation." Coulson gave Link a thumbs up, and Link was speechless. The plan was interrupted at the beginning. He couldn't leave directly like this, so he could only respond, "Beautiful fight." That after that, he started again and went straight up again. The depression is imaginable. The conditions are complete, but it was interrupted in the middle. This feeling is so uncomfortable. After a round of exchange of fire, most of those stealth fighters were shot down, and Stark and Thor came to kill and intercepted the remaining Chitauri. After all, there were not many, only more than 100. Link fought back at the beginning and only shot down a few aircraft. Then the flying forces of both sides confronted each other. The stealth fighters were too large, and they suffered losses in this kind of confrontation, so most of them were shot down, and the rest were also injured, but they also shot down dozens of aircraft. Link led away more than a dozen aircraft, but was caught off guard by Coulson from the side and was directly annihilated. It seems that S.H.I.E.L.D's technology is also good, and Stark and Thor are just crushing the remaining ones, shooting down all the remaining ones, and the small Chitauri force is completely annihilated. When Link rushed up again, there was no enemy. He flew back to the aerospace carrier depressed, collected his battle suit and skateboard, and then returned to the command room. Nick Fury was still relieved at this time. If Link hadn't reacted quickly enough, they would have been wiped out in one go. Let hundreds of alien aircraft approach, and the aerospace carrier would not have much counterattack power. Hawkeye did know the weakness of the aerospace carrier. He was going to land directly from the sky and guide the location of the Chitauri aerospace carrier, and then these aliens would attack from below. "Agent Romanoff, how is Barton?" Nick Fury asked. Hawkeye's real name is Clint Barton, and most people call him Barton. After being hit by the captain, it seems that his brain has been restarted now. Natasha Romanoff said humorously. "That's good. Ask him about Loki's plan." Nick Fury turned around and said, "Agent Hill, send the Quinjet down to the sea immediately to pick up our brave pilots. Also, see what's floating on the sea and bring some back for research." "Yes, sir." Hill immediately began to execute the order. Nick Fury looked at Link and the others and said, "Thank you, Lin. If it weren't for you, we would be in trouble." Link was still depressed, but still said, "This is my duty." Now Loki's plan has failed, but the cosmic cube has not been found. He used the cosmic cube. Why didn't Dr. Banner find it? That he looked at Banner, and Banner said, "Dr. Sevger should know how to hide." After all, they can only open a small space channel, and there are no large space battleships among the attacking enemies. Some air raid shelters will do, but if you want to open a large channel, it won't work there. Link nodded, then looked at Thor and asked, "Loki is still in our control, so will the Chitauri attack without his orders?" Thor said, "Yes, their target should be the cosmic cube, not the Earth. The Earth is Loki's goal. They are considered to be cooperating. Even without Loki, they will attack. Once the channel is opened, it will be a war." Link looked at Banner again and said, "Now we can only fight. The key is where they will open the portal and what conditions are required to open it." Banner said, "Stable energy, heated to a high temperature of 100 million degrees, any nuclear power plant." "No." Link interrupted Banner, "No nuclear power plant is needed. Stark Building and Osborn Building can be used. Loki's personality is similar to Stark. He hopes to stand in a more dazzling place. Just like he hopes to be recognized by the God King." Chapter 90, Battle of New York 2. You are listening at NovelsNew. Damn it, why did he choose my building? Tony Stark's face turned ugly, and then he turned and rushed out. Link said, "Captain, take charge of leading the team to take the Quinjet and fly to New York immediately. Director Fury, block all nuclear warheads." Nick Fury was stunned, then nodded solemnly, turned to Maria Hill, and said, "Agent Hill, you lead the team to immediately block all nuclear warheads, and any fighters that can still take off are not allowed to carry them." All fighters are hung with air-to-air missiles, and those that can take off are flown out. Yes, sir. Hill immediately led people out of the command room. After Link finished speaking, he turned around and left, and equipped his battle suit at the same time. Alfred, immediately contact Jessica, McCall, Frank and the Osborn father and son, and let them evacuate the Osborn building and hide in the gym. Drive my car out and go to Stark building. Yes, sir. Alfred can only control one vehicle, which is Link's modified Suburban. Link came to the deck and started flying directly. He was still holding the scepter at this time. He was one step faster than Stark. After all, Stark's armor was not so easy to wear. Boom! He accelerated with all his strength and immediately hoped to get to the scene as soon as possible, but Stark was not slow either. He soon caught up from behind. Link was helpless. His flight was more flexible, but he could not match the speed unless he flew by himself. Stark passed him first and rushed directly to New York. Link could only follow behind. Lynn, what happened? Jessica suddenly came in. Where are you? Link asked immediately. Let Tracy go to the gym and go to the shooting range in the basement. New York is about to become a battlefield, and aliens are about to invade. What? Jessica was stunned. There is no time to talk more. You must be quick, be ready to put on your battle suit at any time, and if you can arrive in time, don't expose yourself. Link reminded. I understand. Jessica is not a woman who is indecisive. She knows Link's true strength, so she is not worried about Link's safety at all. Now the only thing she has to do is not to become a burden to him. Stark returned to Stark Tower first. There were still Chitauri soldiers here, but there were not many, and the machine had been started. Stark directly launched a shock wave to kill the Chitauri soldiers, then landed and hovered above the machine. He looked at Dr. Sevager and said, Doctor, turn it off. It's too late, it's already started. Even if you turn off the energy of the building, it won't work, it is the energy itself. Dr. Eric Sevager looked up and saw a blue beam of light rising into the sky, hundreds of meters above Stark Tower. Energy is gathering, and a space channel is slowly opening. Link also arrived here at this time, then looked up at the sky and smacked his lips. Stark raised his hand and aimed at the machine, and the energy shock was hit out. Boom! An energy shield actually protected the machine. This was formed by the diffusion of energy after the cosmic cube was started. The impact spread, directly pushing Dr. Sevager out, and his head had a physical reboot. Link didn't wake him up. After all, he shouldn't know too much. Sir, your car has arrived. Alfred's voice sounded. Link said to Stark, I'll get the weapons, Tony, get ready for battle. We must stop these aliens from spreading. I see. I'll also change a set of armor, which is my new research and development, with more weapons. Stark turned and flew into the building. Link flew down to the ground, and without paying attention to the eyes of the people around him, he opened the back door of the car directly, then took out the tactical vest and began to arm himself. He brought a modified M4A1 carbine with upper and lower tactical rails, a 2x scope, a vertical grip, and a telescopic buttstock. He always carried a pistol, and the Glock 17 on his right thigh, and he tried to carry as many magazines as possible. The flying skateboard was disconnected from his back. Link and suspended beside him. Link hung 4 ammunition boxes on the 4 hanging points below the flying skateboard. Finally, an M249 machine gun was taken out of the car and an ammunition box was directly installed. However, an ammunition box only had 200 rounds of bullets, which were hung on the flying skateboard. The flying skateboard was too heavy to carry, and Link could only step on the skateboard now. The skateboard took him into the air and flew towards the space channel. Sirens sounded near Stark Tower. The NYPD received the notice and immediately evacuated the crowd within a radius of 10 kilometers from Stark Tower and established a defense line. Nick Fury is not doing nothing now. He dispatched all the fighters that can fly and notified the NYPD to evacuate the crowd. This is what a director of S.H.I.E.L.D. should do. The aerospace carrier approached New York, but it could not participate in the battle. It was not this kind of battle, but provided a close-range landing position for the fighters. The space channel was fully opened, but it needed to wait for a while to ensure the stability of the space channel. Link held the machine gun and waited for the Chitauri to come in. Stark had changed his armor and also came to the entrance. "Lin, how is it?" Stark asked. "Are you confident?" Link said, "We have to fight whether there are any or not, but we need to know how to close the space channel. We still need to ask Dr. Sevager about this. His brain has been physically restarted. I don't know when he can wake up. Let Natasha ask him later." At this moment, the Chitauri army could no longer hold back, and the first wave began to enter the channel. "Ready." Link said, "I'll go first." Swish, the first aircraft passed through the space channel, and Link opened fire directly. A burst of fire directly hit the pilot of the aircraft. There were 2 Chitauri soldiers behind each aircraft. Link would naturally not let them go and used short bursts of fire. After all, his ammunition was limited, and he had to save ammunition consumption. Riding on a flying skateboard was not suitable for him to fight in the air, and it was not flexible enough. Bullet shells were constantly thrown out. The Chitauri could not see Link. Link was not clear about their perspective, but Link was hiding outside the space channel and moving along the edge, not giving them the opportunity to judge their position. The fight was very clever, and Stark was amazed. This agent is different, not only in terms of shooting skills, but also in terms of actions. But the Chitauri didn't care about casualties at all, and it was unknown whether they had issued new orders. The number of aircraft that came out began to increase, with 3 or 4 aircraft coming out at a time.